Repeating history, when will I learn? I learn. I miss the way that you smile when you look at me. No one ever made me feel so free, so free. Slow down, don't forget me now. I don't wanna fade out of your memory, your memory. Hold up, I know I have my doubts, but I want to fade back into your memory, your memory, your memory.
Alrighty, there we are. Awesome. Welcome, folks, everybody, to this is the Chobo Star League quarterfinals. Actually, gonna be the first quarterfinal match that isn't a walkover because people are awesome. But we do have a match today, which is awesome. It's gonna be a drumhead and monk. I am TB Ham. With me is Ambrosia. He's there.
Yep.
He's
Hello.
there.
Yes.
Yeah. It's been a great couple of weeks around the world for me personally, and just I think in the CSL in general, it's been kind of strange. But we are here. We are casting once again. This is going to be a best of 5 series starting on Coda. See if our players are actually ready this time, because they were ready originally, and then I told them that I wasn't ready. So there we go. Awesome. Players are ready. We're going to be jumping in right into game number 1. For those of you unaware, the Chobo Star League is it's an individual league, just kind of mirroring all the GSL, WCS systems for what originally were Diamond and Under players, but most of these guys have since promoted to Masters League. So I think everyone who's left right now is actually in Masters League, but it is Diamond and Below. It is attached to the Chobo Team League. We are going to be finishing up season number 2 here for the CSL pretty quickly. This one more quarterfinal will be tomorrow, hopefully. Assuming Mr. Orlando is actually available this time, and then we'll be getting into the semifinals and finals after that. But it's been a season. I don't really have much to say beyond that. it's been a really weird time for StarCraft in the lower leagues generally, I think.
Yeah, we did have a lot of people walk over so far in the round of 8, and yeah, we're gonna have to see how this one goes. Our first real match of the round of 8. And in the top left, in our pink, representing Paragons of Perfection, it is going to be Drumhead.
And his opponent in the bottom right, spawning as Terran in teal here for our team Unrivaled. It is Monk.
Alright, so TVP, I understand that you're a random player, correct?
Kinda. I mean, I've been focusing on Zerg more recently, but yeah, I played random for a pretty long period of time.
Alright, nice. So yeah, you'll have some insight into this matchup. I've also been playing a lot of Protoss on Europe and got Diamond with that, so I guess I'll have that side of the matchup. So yeah, pretty standard so far. Looks like we're not having any proxies quite yet, with along the lines of like a 1 gate with that 2 Zealots and a Stalker, so we're going to start out pretty standard. I believe the map vetoes were Iron Fortress and Expedition Lost, so we're going to be seeing all of the other 5 maps, starting with Coda.
Yeah, I think TVP is in a series sort of a system. It's kind of interesting because I don't know. You have to open almost the same way pretty often throughout a series, but there's just so much a Protoss can actually do. A Terran player is generally going to be doing kind of the same openers every single game. We see Monk going for a Reaper expansion right off the bat here. Not much of a surprise. Two-player map. He wants people to get across and see exactly what's going on. He's even seeing an SCV out, making sure there's nothing extremely early coming his way. But I think Drumhead, he's a pretty solid player, and I think he focuses a lot on just the macro side of things. But he can be a two-base hero sometimes, and he has struggled a bit in the past with some Terran players. I want to say. I feel like he lost the series to some Terran earlier in this season. Or maybe he looked like he should have lost the series and then the player threw it. Maybe it was Boss Terran. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, I don't think I watched that series, but yeah, we'll have to see how this plays out. Pretty standard from both players. Like you said, the Reaper expand coming from Terran. I think that's what we see the most out of Terrans in the TVP matchup. It's just really nice for getting that Reaper scout and maybe even killing a probe or two. And yeah, pretty normal one gas expand coming out from our Protoss player Drumhead.
A little bit telling here. Monk is still actually on gas. If he were wanting to get an extreme or a much faster expansion, actually he's a little bit floating on the mineral side here. I think he was a little worried about his SCV. He would have pulled out of the gas a little while ago, so he probably is going to be wanting to throw down a factory, maybe a starport following up, go for some sort of a Widowmine opener. See if you can get some worker kills, get a little bit of the economy disturbed here of Drumheads, but what we have seen, I guess what Drumhead decides to do after this first gateway, he's getting his second gas now. He said that expansion is down for him as well, so both players are focusing on the expansion up. It's just a matter of what is Monk going to be doing here with his gas, with that factory coming down. TVP, I almost expect to see Widowmine
Yeah,
drop
but
Marines.
actually, Widowmine drop is totally possible, but more recently in like Pro League and GSL, we've been seeing a lot of Hellion run-bys with Marine drops and a lot of Hellion play. So that could definitely be in the works for this TVP, but we'll have to see what Monk is pulling out today with his playstyle right now, because I don't know him that well as a player. But we'll have to see on that. Does look like it is going to be that Widowmine drop, though, as the Widowmine starts, so just kind of disregard everything I just said.
Well, there was a Hellion Marine run by sort of play earlier, like literally a couple hours ago, in the WCS. So it's definitely a thing that is happening. I can't remember who actually did it. Maybe it was yesterday even. I feel like I saw it today. Player just he dove in.
4GG is really
Yeah. So
yeah.
was it him?
4GG is really big on his Hellion, so I would expect it to be him, but we
actually,
are also seeing.
it would have been a frick Bunny versus Gung Fu. That's what it was. It had to have been.
Yeah. Yeah, but a lot of pro players are using those Hellions to great success versus Protoss players, because the Protoss players, they don't really have like the Lings and Queens to defend the Hellions to like stop them, so we'll have to see how this goes for Monk. He's probably going to try and force out a Photon Overcharge here from Drumhead with these Marines, and catching this stock route is a really good play.
Yeah, Motion Core is probably going to have to overcharge pretty quickly here, but if he does that, I mean, is there a medevac on the way somewhere? There's the overcharge coming down already. Widowmine's going to try and scoot in there. It does get burrowed at least, but I mean, the Robo is finishing up, and it's burrowed in a really awkward location that it can't do anything. If it unburrows, it's going to die before it gets anything done, so I guess he's going to have to wait for this medevac. He's got another Widowmine in there, and not enough energy just yet for an overcharge. This will be, I don't know, Drumhead's in a kind of this awkward position. He does force out the shot on Widowmine, so that's nice. He does sacrifice one probe, but he has to figure out a way to deal with the rest of this. And I mean, with Blink finishing up here, if Monk gets some of his units caught out a little bit too far, he's going to lose a lot and not have much to defend with. But Widowmine popping in, is it going to actually burrow? There it goes. Does burrow. Nice pull from Drumhead. He's probably only going to lose one more probe. There, yeah.
Yeah, really well done by Drumhead here, not really losing that much mining time, and also, oh, this Widowmine is going to get a nice hit off, actually getting 6 more probes, but other than that, with the single probe pulls, that was really nice. Alright, and we got a dog casting as well, but yeah, so the Observer is now out, so the Widowmine drops are going to stop unless he goes full Maru and decides to attack with like 16 Widowmines total in drops. So yeah, going back into a standard macro game, we got a single engineering bay coming up for Monk. could. It's a little too early to call this, but he could be going for that +1, then another +1, then going for some sort of SCV pull. But we'll have to see on that.
Yeah, dogs do love showing up on the casts here. There are 3 of them in the house that I live in currently, and actually it was my dog who got angry first. It's usually the beagles, but yeah, I mean, it didn't seem like those Widowmines were going to do much, but then that the initial Widowmine that got the single sacrificial probe, I guess it did walk into the mineral line to get, what was it, 7 more probes. So that's pretty nice there for Monk, and I think it maybe took a little bit of the wind out of the sails of Drumhead, so he's got to wait a little bit longer before he can actually get aggressive.
Yeah, and if you look at the supplies right now, we have Monk ahead in supply, both in workers and in army supply, which, as a Protoss, you don't really want to be behind in workers from a Terran, because they also have the supplement of those mules. They're really going to outdo you in a lot of their income and thus in production. So Drumhead here is going to have to be careful about getting too far behind. He's probably going to have to take some risks to get back into this game.
And speaking of, I mean, the War Prism coming out here for Drumhead, he's definitely realizing he needs to get some kind of a damage done that's going to keep Monk on the back foot a little bit, because we don't see a 3rd command center right now for Monk. We just see more barracks coming up, so he's going full on production. Even with these 2 tech labs here, he's going to get all of the upgrades he wants. +1 attack going to be finishing up relatively soon as well, and we do have the first Colossus on the way, but this what is this? Warp Prism is gonna have to buy some time here for Drumhead, and I love Monk sending these Marines out. He's looking for this exact play. He wants to know if Drumhead is going to be trying to use Warp Prism. So sending this Marine out. I'm not sure if he's actually gonna be able to see this Warp Prism or not. It's gonna be really, really, really close. He does barely see it, so he can't prepare for that. But most of his army is moving across the map right now.
Yeah, so it is a big question. The Marine did see it, but it's a big question if Monk was paying attention or not. But we do see him adding a 3rd base, and like you said, the whole army moving out. There are reinforcements here, and if Monk sends them back immediately, he can respond to this. But this is definitely going to get at least 1 or 2 SCV kills if he drops all the zealots.
Zealots are dropped here. They're cleaning up a good amount, and another large whooping of Zealots. I think Drumhead realizing there's nothing really back home for Monk. He's just going to start attacking, but on the other side of the map, the Bioforce is moving in to get on top of this first Colossus. He immediately snipes that down. Now there's nothing but Stalkers and an overcharge. There is a 2nd overcharge available if he wants it. Both players doing a lot of economic damage here. 9 SCVs have gone down to this side of the map. 10 probes going down, 12 even. Mothership Core is going to go down too, so now Monk could just walk into the main base if he wanted and be just completely undefended, but the Widowmines here look like they're going to be cleaning up eventually Drumhead's offense and losing this natural nexus now. That's rough, and Drumhead going to call GG there, so well played to him. Game number 1 will go to Monk. Kind of almost a base trade, but you're never going to end up in a good situation if most of your attacking force is in your opponent's base as a Protoss player. Not going to happen for you.
Yeah, you know what they say, never base trade a Terran. So yeah, that's game number 1, and it does end with the Bioforce of Monk taking out the single Colossus that Drumhead had. And now we're going to move on to map number 2, which I believe is Echo, so let me get that loaded up right now. Echo, much easier to take 3rd base, but yeah, we'll have to see. That might favor Monk because he did take the earlier 3rd in that game, but we could see Drumhead also taking an earlier 3rd because it is easier to take in that circumstance. So let's see how this plays out.
Yeah, Echo's it's a strange map. Like I have a love-hate relationship with it. I feel like I do well on it, and then I lose a lot on that map. So I don't know. It's really awkward to take those outer bases from time to time. If you want to get up a 4th base, how are you going to defend it? In which direction you're going to go? You're going to keep going kind of that horizontal motion, or you're going to branch out a little bit towards your opponent more than usual. So just getting the okay from our players to go, waiting on Monk to say he's ready. There it is. Getting into game number 2 here. With Monk up 1-0, and this is a best of 5, so Drumhead does have a little bit more he can I don't know, test the waters out. Maybe I don't know if these 2 players have really played ever. I doubt they have.
Yeah, I don't really know on that, but Now that Monk is up one in the best of 5, do you think it's time for him to maybe pull out different build, maybe deviate it up from that Reaper expand that we see so often from Terrans and TVP?
I think possibly. It's kind of also the same idea where you're ahead, so you can afford to play kind of safe. He doesn't want to lose to anything ridiculous, which is always a possibility when you're playing a Protoss player. But so wait and see what he's going to do. Introducing our players here. Map number 2, spawning in the bottom right in pink from Paragon's Perfection. Despite his name, this is Drumhead.
And in the top left, as our teal player from Team Unrivaled, despite what it says, it is Monk. Alright. And we do see that SCV coming down with the supply depot. And interesting pylon placement. This will actually block off eventually the Reaper entrance to this base. So Drumhead trying to get Reapers only coming in the front of his base.
Yes, that's interesting. It can be kind of dangerous. I mean, if you think, I don't know, think a little bit into this game, maybe Monk opens up with medevacs once again. You can just kind of fly medevac and see the high ground and take out this pylon really easily and without much defense available for Drumhead. So it could possibly backfire, but the idea is there, and it is gonna block off a Reaper, which looks like it is gonna be the opening once again here for Monk. So smart idea from Drumhead. Instead of blocking off behind his mineral line, he's just gonna block off where the Reaper can jump up. So you know, even to the small chance that maybe Monk was going for some sort of Reaper cheese, something like that, it's going to hinder that even. So it's kind of a cute little play here from Drumhead. See how it ends up faring for him.
Yeah. So he is going to get that extra pylon down, and now the entire Reaper area is blocked. Like he said, normally they would get or Protoss players would get a wall connecting their Nexus to the side of the map, so that the Reaper can only enter into the mineral line one direction, and then you can kind of trap the Reaper. But Monk is probably going to realize this when he scouts, that there is this area right here where his Reaper cannot jump up, and he'll keep that in mind when he's moving forward. And this time, deviating from last game, he is going to pull 2 SCVs out of gas and get that expansion down earlier off of the Reaper.
Yeah, it's an interesting little deviation a bit there. I mean, the first Reaper's gonna be finishing up. I think he's not even sitting across the map. I think he's immediately gonna be looking for proxies even. I mean, the SCV did get in. It did see the 2 gases. It did see that there were 2 probes on each of the gas. So much earlier gas economy here coming for Drumhead. He's still gonna play around here at the natural, maybe kind of feign an expansion coming up. Eventually the Reaper will come over to deny this probe actually being able to do anything, but with the Stalker and the Mothership Core coming out, this should keep Drumhead really, really safe to hide his tech in his own base even, and it still not be scouted out. The Mothership Core is going to pop here in just a second. The Stalker will be with it, so Reaper's not going to be able to get anything done other than seeing at least that the 3rd pylon is there. Well, actually, maybe not. He's not even going to see the 3rd pylon is there, so this is going to scare. This might scare him a little bit more even. He even sees the Nexus, so I don't know. I'm intrigued. It's almost 200 gas. There it is, Stargate.
Yeah, when the expansion is this late, and you don't see that 3rd pylon like you say, you kind of suspect a proxy Stargate. I believe, yeah, so Drumhead did see the expansion, but it was definitely a late expansion, so he's gonna probably be looking for some sort of proxy play and be careful with that. So he's reactoring out Marines at the moment, but also being pretty greedy and getting a really, really fast 3rd command center. This is like you're in a TVZ 3rd command center.
Yeah, I mean, he does go back in and confirm that the Nexus did get canceled. It's not going to be anything cheeky like that where he cancels it and added on 2 more gateways or anything. But still, 3rd command center, I guess Monk just trying to go the routes of a Zerg player playing against a Stargate opener. You build more drones. And you deal with it that way. If he kills a bunch of them, that's fine, because you're going to be okay. But it's actually going to be Phoenix. It's going to be a Phoenix opening here for Drumhead. So really interesting play style is going to be coming out. I imagine Phoenix, and then eventually into Colossus, or maybe even just go straight into Storm. But Phoenix are really, really nice. You're going to be able to deny any early drops, and it could even go in and snipe off some workers if he's lucky. but it is obviously a little bit more difficult to do that with Phoenix than it is with actually an Oracle or something. And is this Reaper going to see the Stargate finally? It does.
Yeah. So that is really rough for Drumhead. The Reaper was on one hit away from getting killed, so the Reaper will get a full scout on what's happening right here, except for the Robo, which he can probably pretty easily assume is coming up next because he saw the Phoenix coming out of the Stargate and he hasn't had an Oracle, so you kind of assume it's macro play from there on. And Monk has Marines in 6 Marines, which can kill an Oracle head on in each of his mineral lines, and he's just pretty ready for any sort of Oracles, which are not coming, but they also help versus Phoenix in general.
Yeah. This is going to open up pretty, I don't know, some nice timings here for a Drumhead. Depending on what he throws down immediately after this Robo is finished. He doesn't really have the money to do much with it other than get some observers out, which, I mean, combined with these Phoenix, it's going to give him a really, really nice map vision, nice map control. Maybe prevent this third from landing, but there's not really much else on the ground for Drumhead. What does he have, 2 Stalkers right now? 2 Stalkers and 3 Phoenix, so he can't actually get aggressive to actually do anything against this 3 Command Center opening from Monk. The only good thing about this Stargate opener is the fact that Monk is using, what is this, 300 minerals on turrets so far. So that's about the biggest victory he's gotten at this point.
Yeah, so like you said, Drumhead only really has 1 gateway, so he can't pressure this 3rd base, and if anything, the Phoenix are going to make the orbital command land at the 3rd base so that it can't get hit. So really, there is nothing for him to deny this 3rd base, and actually Monk has more production at the moment than our pink Protoss Drumhead has at the moment, who's going for robotics and is really going for quite a tech-heavy build, and is probably going to take a 3rd base soon, as he's not seemingly adding any more gateways down. As I say that, he adds more gateways, but that's just to take a 3rd base, as he now has enough minerals to do that.
Yeah, surely I mean, you can't. There's nothing you can do. You have to take a 3rd base at this point, or you're going to get further and further behind. I mean, workers are still in favor of Drumhead. I mean, we do have the 3 mules at a time here for our Terran player at least, and whenever he does start, well, I don't know, he's kind of stopped making SCVs somewhat. It really seems like he's kind of been lax in the SCV creation, considering the fact he's barely on the 2 base saturation if he wanted to be on that even. He is making a lot of units, however, which is going to open up a really strong push. Once again, with these 2 extra gateways just now finishing for Drumhead, he doesn't really have that much, which is kind of the same problem we saw last game, where he didn't really have anything except for a single Colossus coming out. Shit. Nope, it's Monk. Okay.
Okay. Good.
Figured it was actually me.
Yeah, I know. It waited for like way too long to come up with that lag screen.
Yeah.
I'm like, is this me?
Yeah.
So, yeah, so really I wanted to see kind of an earlier 3rd base coming out from Drumhead, just because he's been floating so many minerals recently. But I do see where he's coming from, because he is going double forge off of 3 gates with Colossus and Stargate. So he's really stretching himself thin, and if he got a 3rd base, that would be kind of suicidal, unless if he saw the 3rd base from the Terran, in which case he could probably pull off getting his own 3rd base.
Yeah, he hasn't actually seen that yet, which is kind of surprising.
Yeah, he really needs to see that before he takes his base off.
What does he have, 1 observer?
Opening.
I think he only has 1 observer, so... well, I guess we're going to drop him for the time being.
Alright, Drumhead wins game number 2. No, I'm just kidding.
He does get 10 minutes for a disconnect. We will try to get Monk back in to resume from replay here. Maybe he's actually already back online. I don't really know. Nope, he is DC'd, so...
Alright, well, I will get the resume from replay ready, and... yeah, the stream is probably now caught up to whatever part of the game we left off on, so... we are going to...
Well, I'm just going to throw to the AFK screen so I don't have to continue talking about Monk being offline, but hopefully we will be back soon with another player. If not, this could be the end of Monk here. We'll see. Anyways, this is Chobo Star League. I'm TVM. With me is Ambrosia. We'll be back hopefully soon.
Alright, see you guys soon.
try to forget that you were here. Some part of me wants to disappear with you. My soul and all that I could afford. So only gonna fall into what you explore.
All right, we're back. We're actually loading back into the replay here, or the game, not replay, since it didn't actually finish. So we are recovering. We are getting back into our second game. Monk's internet just died momentarily, but he is back now, so no problem. Just kind of waiting on this recovery. Recovery is always an enjoyable time, but we are back. Awesome. So it's going to be up on. There we go. They're both ready. So you can go ahead and start it. Actually, okay, cool. You can. So we are back. Missed 8 seconds. Oh, well. Apparently the game didn't think that you missed 8 seconds. So sorry.
Yeah, the thing is, though, is that there's no big engagement that he was going into.
Nothing's happens.
8 seconds of play, it's we're not going back for that. I think he's good to go, and I think that's when he dropped. So, really no big hiccups right here. So yeah, we're right back into the game. 5 more barracks coming up from Monk, and he is taking that third base. So is Drumhead, because I think he actually had some time to think about that. So we're really getting back into the game.
Yeah, we do see a second starport coming down here for Monk. And the threat of an SCV pull is definitely there. There's not that many Colossus right now, but all these Phoenix here, that I think this might be the first time that Monk's actually seen the Phoenix. I don't know that he's actually seen them yet. He just saw it with the Marine passed underneath them. So he may now know that they're there. But it's a pretty long time to go without any knowledge about that whatsoever. But these Phoenix are going to try and roll into the third base here, get a little bit of damage done. They get a couple of SCVs mining gas, which is just nice considering that Monk is going to be wanting to pump out a lot of Vikings right now. So he definitely wants all of that gas as well as much as he can possibly have for a while.
Yeah, definitely. And that third base is definitely going to help on that gas income, and Monk does scan, and we'll see the double forges working right here, as well as the extra gateways that are coming in, and pretty much all the tech of Drumhead that he has not seen yet. So he's going to get some really good scouting information, and there could possibly be a temple archive, so he might reconsider the idea of doing an SCV pull if he was even considering it. But we'll have to see on that.
Yeah.
He does have the 4 medevacs only, and is now going straight into the Viking production. So we could possibly be seeing the SCV pull. However, we do have the Ghost Academy coming up, which he does suspect that Templar Archives from the Twilight Council. And I was going to say one more thing and forgot.
Well, there's too many Colossus here. The Phoenix went in and picked off the only Viking that Monk had, and Monk he can't attack into this. It would be absolute suicide, which is it's great for Drumhead. He can sit back and continue making Colossus. Looks like we're gonna have a little bit of a pause here. I imagine he's got a little bit of lag again to see here in a second, but it's a very frustrating thing to play with any bit of lag, especially if you're trying to do any sort of micro. And he may have been a reason he lost that Viking if he wasn't able to respond to it as quickly as we could have. I've done that so many times. I don't know why it happens exactly, but press the wrong button. Was it a good one? So well played by these guys. But yeah, I mean, there's 3 Colossus already. A 4th one's about to pop out. I mean, he's pumping out as many Vikings as he can. He's actually switching into Ghost, expecting that Templar switch, but it's not happening. There's not even a Templar Archives out right now, is there? No.
Wow. You know what? We should stop casting, because right as you said that, he threw down a Templar Archives.
Yeah, well.
So, yeah, that is pretty standard, though, for a TVP to get that Templar Archives out. So, we are going to be seeing that late-game TVP with Ghosts and Vikings versus Colossus and High Templar, and they'll be trying to counter each other, and it's actually pretty cool to see. But we haven't really seen one drop coming out from Monk this game. I guess that is due to Phoenix, but he could be just going with bigger drops. And Drumhead helping out Monk here, getting the 4 SCVs down to 1 SCV on gas.
It's always nice to help out a friend in need.
Yeah. So more barracks, and we're just going straight into the late game of TVP, and we'll have to see how confident each of these players are, because the last game was definitely not late game. We had 2 base versus 2 base scenario where Monk just pushed in with a lot of units, and Drumhead wasn't prepared. But this time around, we're gonna have to see who is more prepared for that late game scenario. And Is it going to be Monk or is it going to be Drumhead? We'll have to find out.
There's 5 Colossus right now, and there are 10 Vikings up here. There's actually another 4 that will be joining those in a second, and that's a pretty hefty number of Vikings, but not much else really for Drumhead. He doesn't have any sort of AoE beyond that. He's got a lot of Stalkers and some Zealots. He's actually going to try to push into this before he is ready. Vikings are pretty well out of position. A lot of the army here for Monk is out of position. Well, a Time Warp goes down. Gonna try and force some of these units to stay and fight, and the Colossus, well, they're kind of getting rained down upon by all these Vikings, but there's just such a bulky army here for our Protoss player, and Monk is trying to retreat, but still trying to take as much of an engagement as he possibly can. 3 Colossus remain, all of the Vikings died, which is absolutely huge right now for Drumhead, and he can, if he wanted to, he could try it and continue pushing across. I'm not sure if he's going to do that, if he's going to expand or what. He's actually still making Colossus, realizing that he just killed a ton of Vikings. Granted, 4 at a time are being created, but at the same time, so much of that Bioforce just went down. You can see it in supplies. A 30 supply lead right now for our Protoss player, and he's just warping in another round of Zealots.
Yeah, the thing about just like there are 5 Colossus, and for that you need like almost 15 Vikings. It's really insane how many Vikings you need for each Colossus, and what Monk had was just not enough in that engagement, and that's why he really didn't take the engagement, because the Vikings didn't focus down the Colossus to start out with. I believe you need 19 or something to one-hit a Colossus.
Oh my goodness. The
yeah,
huge blink forward. Yeah, this is a rather disgusting army discrepancy here. 100 army supply to 40. That's going to be GG, and it looks like Drumhead is going to tie this series up, so replay review, or the recovery game did not seem to phase him too much. I would say going into that recovery, maybe he was a little bit behind, kind of. The way the bases were going, the way the game was kind of going, but there was no answer for that amount of Colossus. It was a really nice engagement by Drumhead. Poking him when he did, all the bio was they weren't protecting the Vikings, and the Vikings went down with ease, and the Colossus just destroyed everything.
Yeah, really good focus fire from Drumhead in that fight with his Stalkers to the Vikings. And we're going to go into game number 3, and it is now an even match, and we're going to have our first, well, real match, and also first match of the round of 8, and it's shaping up to be a good one.
Yeah, indeed. Monk actually asking in a chat here, in party chat, if Drumhead had a hidden base. Monk is... I mean, you do the same thing. You underestimate how much a Protoss player can have off of just 3 bases. But that's the thing. I don't know if Monk understood how quickly Drumhead actually had that 3rd base. So he had it pretty much the same exact time that it was dropped, as the CC was dropped for Monk there. Teams thinks... as Monk was able to land his own base. So he was never really that far behind, and it was just well played by Drumhead throughout that entire game. And the Phoenix opener didn't actually do anything in the opener, but it was plenty.
Yeah. Wow, okay. So, yeah. Sorry, I'm watching... Okay, never mind. So, we've got, Monk and Drumhead on Inferno Pools, which does lend itself to be a macro map. And in that last game, we did see that Drumhead did, I believe, take the better engagement in that fight. So in those late game scenarios, we're gonna have to see how that pans out on this macro map. The last game I casted on this map was TVP, I believe, that turned out to be really epic. It was like this weird base trade, and there were hidden bases, and then this one observer, I think, won the game because it spotted a Widow Mine. Anyways, down in the bottom left, I believe, where the camera started, we have our teal player. For Unrivaled, it is Monk.
And his opponent over in the bottom right for Paragon's Perfection. In pink, this is our Protoss Drumhead. And actually, I just noticed the mini icon by Monk's Command Center just changed to Ascension. Last game it was Unrivaled, but this game it's actually the Ascension logo. So that weird little bug with Blizzard, where sometimes your old clan's logo still shows up by your main buildings, but
oh yeah,
yeah.
So my clan, thanks David Kim. used to, yeah, occasionally a long time ago when I had just left on the Unrivaled clan, it would still show the Unrivaled logo. So yeah, I've gotten that too. But now, luckily, it's back to David Kim's face, and it's great.
Because that's something to aspire for. Totally.
Yes. All right, so we are going to have that Reaper again from Monk. And, Reaper's decent on this map. You have an entrance in the back of the base as well as the front of the base, like every unit. And, yeah, we're going to have pretty similar opening to last game from both players, because we do see the double gas coming out from drumhead.
Yeah, that's an earlier extra gas, I think, for drumhead, just a little bit. I'm curious if he's going to go for 3 on each gas or just 2. He's going to start with just 2 on each of these gases. At least for a little while. And is he going to actually take this next gas? Is it a fake? Playing mind games is something you can definitely do in a series like this, but I don't know. 75 minutes. Okay, there he goes. He's going to take that, but still, I want to see if he pulls out once that SCV leaves, or if he's actually trying to use that gas for actual tech play. And did this probe actually get in? Okay, the probe did get in C, so it's still going on a journey up north. So is this going to be like Proxy Twilight? Because there's a pylon coming down already, and that's pretty far.
I think this time around he's gonna proxy a Stargate. However, you did say it's pretty far, but
yeah.
however, Drumhead might not want it to get scouted because you don't really scout out that far with the Reaper. He knows the Reaper is coming. Drumhead does, and Monk knows that there's a proxy, so he's going to be looking around, and he has not queued his Reaper to walk there. So yeah, I do respect the. Oh, you know what? Forget all that.
No problem. I got this.
I'm kind of questioning why he'd put it that close to the Terran.
Yeah,
why
that's
not
weird.
put it in the very top left or something like that? But
I think it's probably just because where his probe was. He knew he needed a pylon down to be able to get this down, and the probe didn't stick around, so it is just going to be blink. It's not. I doubt it's going to be DTs since this probe is chilling elsewhere. So we can actually probably build some more proxy pylons somewhere else for warp-ins when the time does come. But Reaper does get shooed away by the Stalker in the main base, and how is Monk going to prepare for this? He's got a factory coming down already. He's just got a lot of Marines, and I'm kind of worried this is going to be a Widowmine drop against what's probably going to be a Blink all-in. And I don't know how well it's going to go for our Terran player.
Yeah, we'll have to see how this plays out because we haven't really quite had this scenario yet in this series. So there will be more gateways for Drumhead. Yep, as I say that, they go down right there. And this is completely all-in from him. If Monk can hold this off without losing his base and a bunch of SCVs, then he's probably going on to win the game. But holding off the attack without losing your base and a bunch of SCVs is also going to be really tough, and we'll have to see how that goes for him.
The one, I guess, kind of almost good thing for Monk. I mean, the motion core did just come out. I guess it still has plenty of time before Blink finishes. He hasn't been using Chrono on the Blink. He's been using it on other aspects. His gateway research is just about to finish here. He's going to have actually 4 gates even with Blink. I think maybe realizing that maybe the Blink is a little bit behind. I'm not really sure. It's been a long time since we've seen a lot of Blink all-ins necessarily. We see a lot of Blink pressure plays after an expansion. That's pretty common, but a Blink all-in, 4 gateways off of this, that's a lot of power to be coming out here. And it looks like Drumhead, Monk is actually, he's even just abandoning his natural base right now. He realizes what is coming his way, realizes that Drumhead hasn't expanded. He's just going to defend as best as he possibly can.
Yeah, you just really cannot hold that natural base versus Blink Stalkers because they can just outmaneuver you. And if you think you're holding that natural as a Terran, you are a very dead Terran. So I really respect the decision from Monk to take this base over here. But I'm not sure he knows that it's Blink quite yet. He might just think it's a gateway all-in. So
he did. He's got the Reaper up by the Twilight Council, so he does know at this point. So he was trying to reposition these Widow Mines, but just a little bit out of the way here. Widow Mine shot not going to go off. And with Blink, Drumhead can actually bait that shot out and just blink away, which he does masterfully there. So well done by him. Some SAVs are pulled off the line to try and help this out in a Time Warp goes down, but Widowmine's actually doing a pretty good job of helping to defend. Not many SCVs have been lost. Okay, 11 SCVs have been lost, which is a pretty substantial amount. And Drumhead, I mean, it didn't look like this was going that well, considering that Monk saw it coming, but it's a lot of units. Those 4 gateways definitely powering up a lot of damage here. Widowmine has recharged, but it's so out of position now, it can't really do anything.
Yeah, like I said, it's just really tough to not lose a bunch of SCVs in this attack, because you really have to pull them to defend this attack even on one base with an expansion. So this is going to be a tough hold, although that Widowmine shot does help him out here, but losing 22 SCVs at this point, Drumhead could probably just walk home and just expand and also be really ahead in the game. So you know, continuing to get more SCV kills, that's also totally good, and he could just win the game right here and now.
Yeah, there's not really much helping to defend here for Monk. He's trying to move some Widowmines forward, but I mean, Drumhead has not really done too well against these Widowmines. He started off pretty nicely, but they did start getting a lot of kills. Monk is going to call it GG there, and he will tap out game number 3. Game number 3 will go to Drumhead here, so Drumhead will take the first lead for him, going up 2-1, which means that Monk is going to be on his last life coming up here. He's going to have to continue to win unless he wants to be knocked out.
Yeah. Hold on, trying to get maps here. Okay, so Vonnie Research Station, and then we're going to end with Cactus Valley if Monk does win this map. So we'll have to see on that. Vonnie Research Station, pretty good for drops since you got that backdoor natural. And pretty open third base. You can really abuse a huge concave on the third base on that map. On Vonnie, that is. And yeah, I kind of favor this map for Terran, definitely. So Monk does have a very solid chance of winning this map, but he really needs to if he wants to stay in this series and in the CSL.
Yep. For Drumhead, I mean, this is another map we see a lot of proxies, a lot of proxy stargates, mainly for the most part. That's what you're going to see. But he's got a map to play with. Given how the game 2 and game 3 when he won in a game that was extremely macro oriented, game number 2 there. He lost a game that was kind of just, I don't know, kind of awkward for him. Pretty much nothing went the way that he wanted it to in game number 1. And then last game, he had a plan and he executed it, and he just kind of steamrolled Monk there. Again, that blink all-in is so powerful, and with the 4 gateways powering it even, unless Monk he really needed to scout that out a lot earlier. I don't know, I feel like he should have inferred that was coming. He saw the gateways. He just didn't make any bunkers besides the one in his main. Yeah, he abandoned the natural, but it was too little too late, I believe. And with all that said, we are into game number 4 here. Could be the last life for a player here, spawning in the bottom in teal from Team Unrivaled. Our Terran, it is Monk.
And the top in pink, representing Paragons of Perfection. In the cami pink, it is Drumhead. Yeah, so that last game, it's really tough to hold the blink all in without going some sort of like 3 racks to get a lot of units out. So with that pseudo like 1-1-1 after expansion build that Monk did, it's almost impossible to hold that 4-gate blink attack.
Yeah.
So
it was just kind of surprising that seeing Monk I don't know, he that's the way he opened in game 1 and he won that game, so I imagine that's what he wanted to do. Inferno Pools can be a really nice map to do those sorts of drops on. There's a lot of dead airspace. So going for a Widowmine drop like that was a good idea. It's pretty much the exact worst thing you could possibly have against a blink all-in, because the Widowmines, if Drumhead was focusing completely on neutralizing those Widowmines, he could have done so with the blink. He did it a couple times where he would bait a shot and then blink away from it, but he didn't even need to. It's 4 gateways with blink against a single Rax. That's just not going to cut it for Monk. So to see how he responds here in game number 3, and again a 2-cast opener here for Drumhead. What's it going to be this time? He's opened Stargate and he's opened Blink. Is it going to be an actual Oracle this time?
Or DTs.
Or DTs, yeah.
I highly doubt that, but could always prove me wrong. I'm always a fan of seeing DT play in PvT. Can work out if there are no turrets up in time, and
I think this is probably the worst map to do it on.
Yeah.
The entrance to the main is so easily wall off. You have to rely on getting in. Maybe even you can go for some like a DT drop with Warp Prism if you want to do that. But
oh no, I totally agree with you.
I would expect
it's
to see
a horrible
Stargate.
map for that. Yeah.
Expect to see Stargate.
Yeah. Stargate, and definitely with those Phoenix play, because you can really abuse the Phoenix to stop drop play into your natural, and then you can kind of focus your attention to the third base and kind of take an early third base even as Protoss, and really get ahead, because you can't really get dropped that easily in your natural with the Phoenix there. So I would like to see the Phoenix play for sure.
That said, I mean, Monk, he realizes that in that game number 2, when Drumhead went for that Phoenix, he still went for a really quick expansion. So he is going to NGB block. He's going to force out the Zealot here, which is nice, and it also forces a unit out that a Reaper can kill, or at least kite around a little bit. We don't yet see the tech choice here from Drumhead. I mean, he does have to shoo away the Reaper first. Obviously, there's no proxy pylons on the map, so he can't actually put whatever he wants to do out just yet. And I imagine he is just wanting to expand and then put that Stargate down. So he does have to contend with this engineering bay first, and that'll be canceled here in a moment for Monk, and so the Nexus go down. And I guess it is going to be that opening with the Stargate here.
Damn, no DTs.
No, at least not at this point of the game.
Yeah. So yeah, that expansion will go down. It's a pretty similar game to game number 2 on Echo, which Drumhead did win, and we do have that factory coming down. I believe this has happened every game with Monk, kind of going for that factory and Widow Mines. So we'll see if it's probably going to be Widow Mines again.
Yeah, which against, if it is going to be a Phoenix opener, I think this is actually exactly what Bunny did to Gung Fu Bandit earlier. It was against the Phoenix opener, and he did a Widow Mine drop, and the Phoenixes, they weren't able to respond in time, and Widow Mines just tore apart his mineral line, and he kind of lost it from there. It is going to be Phoenix. Phoenix, they can lift a Widow Mine before it's able to burrow, but that does rely on Drumhead having the reaction, having the vision to see that medevac is coming in, and it is indeed going to be this Widow Mine drop with some Marines helping out. There is going to be an overcharge at least, and there are a couple of Stalkers here to help out, so it's a matter of will the drop get in, or will it be shoot away before it can even walk inside the base.
So Monk has not actually seen the Stargate, but is just kind of preparing for it by putting the Widow Mine behind the I guess satellite dish of the orbital command. So he is kind of getting ready for anything by putting that Widow Mine there, which does one-shot an Oracle, and is probably going to move out pretty soon with those in just a minute. But the Phoenix from Drumhead does spot everything that's happening here, and it's probably going to be ready for that drop in the natural by just lifting up Widow Mines and killing the medevacs.
Yeah, it was an interesting scout from Drumhead. The placement of the Phoenix over here, directly going to intercept this medevac if it does happen to walk past that. And he's got the Stalkers in the main, the Mothership Core as well on the left side here, ready to spot that direction of a drop. And Monk, he's not moving out with any other units, so he's not going to be able to pressure behind this at all. And there's 3 Phoenix here, and 3 Phoenix can kill a medevac pretty quickly, so he could lose these Widow Mines and a medevac immediately, but I think it's barely going to be out of range there. He is going for it. He does have a boost at least, but is it going to be enough? Oh god.
All these Phoenix have to do is just, lift the
well
Widow
done.
Mines, and they're dead.
Very well done. He will run out of... Well, no, he won't. He's going to be able to kill both of those even. He got the medevac too, so really, really well played there by Drumhead. Maybe that was his idea in game number 2, opening these Phoenix, expecting another Widow Mine drop. It just never came, but it came this game, and he defended against it completely. And not only getting the medevac is victory enough in itself, but getting both Widow Mines before they even get a shot off is absolutely huge.
Yeah, that was actually just a perfect defense, because he lost nothing and lost no mining time. So really good defense from Drumhead. I would definitely put him ahead right here. He is ahead in supply by a little amount, but also he's getting he hasn't quite put down that production yet, and it is now with those 3 gateways coming down. Coming up.
I think at this point, Monk might kind of be relegating himself to he's gotta just deny a third base for a long period of time because he's not gonna be able to get his third up for a while. He doesn't have the money or the production to do it, and he's adding on these extra barracks over here, trying to get a lot of units out as fast as he possibly can. But he's got no medevacs. He lost that first one. His gas econ was pretty low for a while because he did spend so much early in the game to go nowhere, essentially. So he's really low on units that actually matter, and there's already the Colossus are in production here. So if this third base gets up for Drumhead and he's able to sit here defending it, this is going to go pretty poorly. Oh my god, that medevac 6 health left on it. I think it's the only thing that Drumhead wanted to do was snipe that medevac, and he just barely did. Monk does react well enough to get it away and repair it, so scary moment there for our Terran player.
Yeah, with this Phoenix play, the drops just really get shut down. When you're low on medevacs, like versus Colossus, you can't really afford to keep on producing medevacs because your Viking count will just be so low. So you just can't risk drops versus a Phoenix Colossus player. So Monk is stuck in this really awkward position where he has no third base. It's actually probably going to start... Oh, sorry. It is halfway done as the third base for Drumhead is finishing, but he also has to turn that into an orbital, fly it over. So this third base is super late, and Drumhead's third base is so much faster, and he's getting power himself ahead in this game by using that third base right here. And adding on double forge is really going to help him in the late game, as he's going to have those double upgrades.
Yeah, the preemptive overcharge even the Widowmine is not able to burrow. It's just absolutely nothing is going right for Monk at the moment. He does have a third command center about to finish up, which is nice, but his third command center is just finishing, and Drumhead's is saturated. And that's a frightening situation to be in for a Terran player. So I just don't know what he's going to be able to do. He has picked up some units back home, maybe to go and try and drop it. The Phoenix are just such a threat. And with an observer actually sitting on top of this army, he does see that it's a possibility maybe Monk is just waiting to fill up this second medevac before he starts going. And I think you're just supposed to poke it and take out a medevac if you can. Full stem even. That's rough.
Yeah.
2 Colossus here. Monk is in a really scary position where he's going to get his entire army just shredded. He's trying to micro back, but it's just the Phoenix are taking out the medevacs. The medevacs has so much energy as well, and they're just dying. I mean, Monk could try and dive in and go for those Colossus. There's not much else actually defending, but nice force fields does keep the Terran player back for a little bit of time. This medevac did not wander forward, sir. There you go. Have to back up a little bit. 2 medevacs will be going into the natural here, which can get a little bit of damage done at least. All the army is over at the third base, so this drop should do a good amount. Maybe even snipe a Nexus, but he really needs to get probes right now. It's really what he wants. He already got 7 immediately, 13 probes dead, and he still has a pretty substantial army outside of the third base here for Monk. And he's starting to turn this game around a little bit. He's going to snipe the Nexus and walk into the third base. Can he get a Colossus and the Nexus here too?
Yeah, definitely. So the Drumhead way overextended in that defense of his third base, and now he's just lost his natural Nexus.
Wow.
He's going to lose his third Nexus,
Wow.
and it's GG. Monk just kind of tore him apart.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's that.
For as poorly as that game was going for Monk. Like, everything that could have gone wrong went wrong for him. He lost all those medevacs over there, but he had nothing but Phoenix and Colossus and, like, a couple Sentries and a couple Zealots, and the Zealots just got kited to death. Sentries were going to do anything. Monk realized that and turned around and just went on the offensive, and with that double drop into the natural, I can't believe how quickly 13 probes died. That was insane.
Yeah,
instantly dead.
Yeah, he was just getting a little overconfident in his army right there, and it's just, yeah, you just kind of can't make that mistake. You're a little down in army, because Stim Bio is really good when there's a low Colossus count like there was right there. And it's just a really tough position for Drumhead. You gotta stay next to your Nexus. You can't run out like halfway across the map to chase an army that will way out-kite you and can always just stim away. So let me get teams in right here. And I'm a little scared why remove from lobby and promote to lobby host are just buttons that are right next to each other.
Well, it's like whenever I'm trying, like throughout the week, especially on a week like this is the last week of the CTL regular season, I'm trying to figure out who has played, who hasn't played, who I can like update as who won or whatever. Add friend and remove, like add friend turns into remove friend. Remove friend is right next to block communication. So I block communication of like 20% of the CTL like player base on a daily basis and realize it right afterwards. But it's really, really frustrating how that happens every single time I'm doing that. But we are into our fifth and final game here today, the quarterfinals of the Chobo Star League. Spawning in the bottom left in teal from Team Unrivaled, our Terran player. This is Monk.
And in the bottom right, we're getting horizontal spawns again. In the pink for Paragons of Perfection, it is Drumhead.
Alright, so, well, I don't know. Drumhead, he tries opening up macro. He tried opening up macro in 3 of the 4 games so far. The only game he didn't was that game on Inferno Pools, and that was just, it was a steamroll, honestly. It was ridiculous. Last game, he was in such a great position, but just didn't have enough to actually defend the drops eventually. I think if had the Phoenix been over there at the natural waiting for those drops, he would have been fine. He would have denied those immediately. I mean, he had an observer over there. It wasn't quite out far enough to see it soon enough for him to react well enough. But, I don't know. Is he going to go for something cheesy here? This is a large map, and it worked out pretty well in Inferno Pools.
Yeah, it's really tough. It's just
God.
those little things like having your Phoenix in the right place.
Command center
Both players
first.
going to... Oh, wow. Yes, definitely coming out from Monk right here. He's really feeling confident and trying to get ahead in this game. And yeah, both players scouting horizontally once again, just like Inferno Pools. Both players going to scout each other first, and the Protoss player not getting unlucky like they did in the group that I casted, where the Protoss player scouted the wrong way on 4-player maps every time, and it was never cross-spawn.
Oh my god, this is going to be a bit of a problem here for Monk. Okay, he's going to push away this probe. I thought he was going to let that probe might actually die. Oh, it's going to die. Drumhead not paying attention. He's worried about the SCV in his own base, actually, rather than focusing on the probe that was out on the map. But actually, he's not taking his gas yet either. Is he just going to like just chrono out a bunch of zealots and expand? Oh, he's just going to expand.
No, yeah, he's just going to go basically just a gate into Nexus and into Cyber. Just chroning out a bunch of zealots.
No, I was like, what are you doing? Oh, okay, you're going to expand. You're putting in that zealot in case the engineering bay came down. I really wish an engineering bay would have come down. That would have forced out, at least forced that zealot, and it denied this Nexus time a little bit longer. And since Drumhead hadn't gotten on gas yet, that really would have thrown him behind quite a bit. But as it stands, CC first against Gate directly into Nexus. So I'd say pretty even so far. But actually, that's a really quick third barracks given this opening from Monk. So I'm intrigued. Is he gonna actually put pressure on after going CC first?
I don't think. I think he just doesn't want to get oracled. So he's gonna want to just get enough Marines to have 6 in each mineral line.
That's really, I don't know. That's really weird because he wasn't able to make an orbital for a pretty good amount of time. He actually can't produce fully off of all of these barracks here. But I mean, generally this third rack takes a little bit longer. I have to wait and see. I'm curious if he's gonna just maybe get up 12 Marines, walk across the map. I imagine tech will be coming out here for Drumhead pretty soon. It could still be a Stargate, but at this point in the game, I'm not really sure what he's going to go for.
Yeah, that is definitely possible that we will see just mass Marines and go across the map, but that could be... Yeah, so he definitely could do that and then force out a photon overcharge and then do some sort of follow-up attack, kind of like he did in Game 1. That could secure him a win. Yeah, so no factory yet, which is kind of interesting, but also double gas. So we're probably going to be seeing some sort of tech, or else Monk is going to have a lot of gas very soon.
Yeah. There's a bunker coming up front. There's a stalker going to be poking a little bit. It can be a little bit annoying. Maybe just go for a couple Marines, see if you can get some damage done. He may kill at least one of them. Just good control here for both players. Drumhead losing just a little bit of shield. shield health on this first Stalker, but doing pretty well. Trying to go for the SCV that's building this bunker. It could possibly get it, but not quite going to get that. Not going to be the case. He will have to move that Stalker on home unless he wants to lose some more health on that. SCV going to roll in and get a little bit of a secondary scout on, but it shouldn't get into the main base. No, not going to get into the main base, and we do see Blink on the way here for Drumhead. Just a nice early defensive ability to have.
Yeah, that is, this opener from Drumhead is going to be fairly similar to game number 1. He is going to get that Blink as well as the Robo and no Stargate, so we're going to see something similar to that. And then out of Monk, of course, we saw the CC first, so no move out with the Marines quite yet, so he's just going to stay at home with those and play pretty defensive with the missile turret.
Yeah, I mean, having really no vision right now, he hasn't even expended a scan to try to see what his opponent is doing. Playing blind as a Terran player, you never want to deal with. There we go. We do see the scan come down, so he does see. He can see the Twilight Council is researching. He does know that's happening. And the Robo facility is just about to finish. He even sees the extra 2 gateways, so he's seen absolutely everything. There's nothing more he could have wanted from that. He's actually down 10 workers, and really, it's getting that quick third barracks. It's really cut into what he's been able to produce. Because he's this mineral star for such a long period of this game, and it's really hard to make 3 Marines at a time and 2 SCVs at a time and get all your other buildings up, the depots that you need up to stay on supply block. And speaking of, he's in a supply block currently, so he doesn't really have the supply that you would hope for a player to have going or CC first into 3 barracks like this. So I don't know. Interesting decision from Monk. Maybe he did want to get really aggressive, but just wasn't able to do that, and he was a little bit too afraid, I suppose.
Yeah, and we do see the double forge coming out from Drumhead. He really does like that play, as well as the Colossus. And chronoing out Blink, he could be putting on some pressure, but there's really no proxy pylons out quite yet, so I don't think that's really in the cards. So he's just going to macro up with double forge and getting that Colossus out.
2 more barracks coming out here from Monk, and it's a lot of production here for a Terran player on 2 bases. He's not really even fully saturated on his bases just yet. He's just about to be. He's going to have +1 here in just a moment, and with his first 2 medevacs, I would kind of expect him or hope him to move out and try and do some sort of pressure, because right now Drumhead up to 58 workers. At this stage of the game, he has very little army supply. He's got 3 Stalkers, 3 Zealots. He's about to have a Colossus out. Beyond that, he really doesn't have anything else. The Observer does see this army moving out. It could be kind of disastrous if Monk decides to try and attack in through drops rather than just going for a full frontal assault. But remains to be seen. He is taking his 3rd command center at the 3rd base, so he's got no fear, at least in that regard. So that's nice for Monk.
Yeah, we do see a move out from Monk here, and he's taking out all the rocks to give himself a little bit more mobility, and it's probably... So this is a lot of bio, and if he focuses down the Colossus, this could go really well for Monk. He is ahead very heavily in that army supply, so this attack could really prove to be helpful for Monk. If he takes out the Colossus right away, then he's pretty much home free. He can just take out all the other stuff, although with the 2nd Colossus, this does become a lot more holdable for
There's no sentries. There are no sentries right now. It means these Colossus are in a really vulnerable position. I think Monk, he sees 2 Colossus. I mean, obviously there's an overcharge available as well. I'm not sure if he's just looking for a hidden base right now. We mentioned this in the party chat after game number 2, the game on Echo. He asked Drumhead if he had a hidden base, and Drumhead gave this kind of cute little answer. I mean, he didn't have a hidden base, but I think that's in Monk's mind. He doesn't want to attack into this if there's a hidden base. Maybe he does if there is one, but there isn't. So I doubt he's going to want to walk into 2 Colossus with this small of a force. And even Drumhead going to get a little bit aggressive here and move out, at least posture forward. He wants to take his 3rd Nexus really quickly. Well,
yeah, so now that Monk has scouted all the other bases, he's going to realize that there's no hidden base. So, like you said, he's going to kind of stick back and sit on his 3rd base, realizing that it is so much faster than Drumhead's, and he's definitely going to get ahead in this game as Drumhead does throw down his 3rd base. But I think in this series, whoever has taken the third base first has lost for some reason, but that's probably not going to hold up because Monk is ahead in supply right now. He's definitely ahead, but once again, this game is very far from over. We're just kind of getting into the later stages of the game, but if you look at the worker count, Monk is just so far ahead. 20 workers up as a Terran versus a Protoss, as well as 16 army supply up. That's really huge.
Oh, the blink forward almost gets a medevac. Actually, these medevacs have boost again, so we're going to be able to get out. I really wish that Monk would have gone in with those units he had near the third base while he was dropping in the natural. He's going back into the natural base to get off some more worker kills if he's able to, which is really nice. Monk just using the mobility of a Bio-Terran to his advantage as best as he possibly can. He's probably going to lose all of his units over here, but he's done a good amount of damage. He's actually going to be pushing into the third base. There's a Colossus out here, a little bit exposed. Monk trying to stim in on top of that Colossus, but enough Zealots here. I think these Zealots even have charge. No, yeah, they go. They do have charge now. I think it just finished up. No,
yeah, really good of splitting of his army coming out from Drumhead here. He defended both drops slash like I guess flanks or things of aggression, and is gonna establish that third base. But with 3 and probably the other 3 on the way soon, he is gonna be in a good position on upgrades. But you know, he can't really.
Oh wow. He's just dropping on top of this Colossus. There are 3 Widow Mines in this army, too. That's going to be scary. Oh, the friendly fire damage, though. Oh, my God. The friendly fire killed everything of Monks. He lost everything. Widow Mines. If they just would have shot the Colossus, that would have been awesome. But they shot all the Zealots. And that was a bit of a disaster there for Monk. I mean, he's still in a pretty good position. I mean, he does have a 20 supply lead right now. He does have that earlier third base. He's got a massive worker advantage as well. These drops have been really, really annoying to Drumhead. He doesn't actually have his Templar Archives down just yet, so he's still stuck on this Colossus tech that I think he wants to get out of, at least at some point. And Monk is still, you know, he's a little bit aggressive here. He's posturing a little bit aggressive. He keeps sending in medevacs when he can, wherever he's possible, or wherever possible. Oh, God. Hit these blink forward. Now he's just going to drop on top of this. Again, just really nice moves out of Monk here. He's forcing Drumhead to split between 2 or 3 bases at a time. He's going to lose a single Colossus and maybe lose a second one here over in the natural base. He does kill that off as well. There's still another little army to the northeast of that third base. He does lose everything in the natural, so that was a pretty big supply swing. But to get those Colossus, I think he's pretty okay with it. He's going to get some more probes here at the third base. Actually, a little bit of a miss move there, yeah.
He's going to get the probes, but kind of at what cost? He lost a lot of his army that was out on the map, and now he's really behind in army supply.
4 medevacs.
He would be really prone to a counterattack, mostly because at this point, Monk has not made a single Viking. So he's trying that Maru style where you drop a bunch, multi-prong attacks, but at this point, Monk has I believe, you know, not that many medevacs and just bio. So
there's 5 medevacs into the natural base right now, and they're dropping a ton of units on this Nexus. That Nexus is, well, everything over here is probably forfeit. There's actually a Widow Mine in the midst of all of this as well, which, once again, could backfire. It does go off and, well, hurts a couple of Zealots. And actually, this entire attack is going to be backfire a little bit here for Monk. He needs to get out of there with those medevacs as quickly as he can. He does take one of them into the main base, so he does know that the Templar Archives is down as well. Does he see the DT shrine? I don't even know where that's at right now. Oh, it's at the third base. There it is.
Yeah. So the problem here is that when Drumhead gets maxed out, there's so many workers for Monk. In fact, he has 35 SCVs out of 24 at his third base. That Drumhead with the Colossus and no Vikings from Monk is just going to... Monk is just going to die because he just has nothing to counter the Colossus, and he's just been focusing on bio. But the idea behind this drop play is that you have to kill the Protoss before they can take time and go across the map and kill you. So, you know, he's doing a really good job of it.
Yeah, he sure is.
On attack and
60 supply up right now, and he's got 4 medevacs going to the natural base of the game while he has this massive army. He's killed 54 workers so far in this game. He's got 86 workers to 50 right now. He really needs to sacrifice some of those so he can get a bigger army. Yeah. His 3-3 is going to be finishing up pretty soon, and And the overcharge is active over here at the natural. I see he's going to the main. Okay, no. There's still a lot of Widow Mines here, and honestly, the Widow Mines haven't really done anything decent. They've just been killing his own units, which kind of sucks, but still, a really, really massive army here for Monk. He really, really needs to get rid of some of these SCVs, though. That's really hurting supply.
Except the thing about that is he's kind of playing this like a Zerg almost in a ZVP, where he just keeps remaxing armies and trading, and just he might not be trading the most efficient way possible, but he just has so much more mining that he can afford to throw away armies to get some damage done, and in that way he's kind of pulling this game together, and Drumhead has just had enough and is now moving across the map to try and counterattack for the win. And you know, the army supplies are equal. He could be able to do this. Drumhead, that is.
Definitely. I mean, there's some of Monk's army is on the other side of the map right now. There are some Widow Mines. I don't know if there's any observers actually around, so that's going to be annoying here for Drumhead. He's got Storm available. There's not a lot here from Monk, but the good news, I suppose, is that he could pull SCVs, because he needs to pull SCVs and get rid of some anyway. Same time, he's going to be taking out this third base, probably. He just has to find a way to defend against this. He's going to come in from both sides. Storm's blanketing the main army. SCVs are coming in here for Monk. Is it going to be enough, though? The 3 Colossus are still alive. 36 SCVs just went down. 40 have gone down. Can Monk actually produce enough units to defend against us? He needs some Vikings. I don't know if he's going to be able to get on top of these Colossus ever to do any damage. He just has to keep defending, I suppose, for as long as possible. He still does have a 3rd and 4th orbital command around here. Actually, this is a planetary over this 4th base, and Drumhead is starting to kind of peter out a little bit. Actually, there's a couple of Widow Mines even in the natural base here of Drumhead, and he's only got these 2 Colossus. There it is. GG. Holy crap. Monk will take this series 3-2, so congrats to him. That was insane.
So I think that decision to move across the map was a little late, just because he was at that point down in army supply.
There's just nothing he could do throughout that entire game. He was back in his main and his natural, defending the entire game. Like, how long was that game? The game was 23 minutes, and he spent minute 10 through 22 sitting in his bases trying to defend those drops somehow. And it was just it was never possible. He could never move out, and eventually it was enough for Monk to take the win there. So congrats to him. He will move on to the semifinals. He will be actually going up against a teammate, another Protoss, a teammate of Drumhead's, Nicro. So it'll be another TVP coming up for Monk, hopefully like next week or something. I don't know. But yeah, that's gonna be it for Drumhead. Congrats to him. He's been around kind of StarCraft for a long time. If you hang out on ATP at all, he's always around there. I've seen his name there a lot. He was in the CTL seasons ago, back in Season 2, a long, long time ago on my original team. So he's been around for a long time, and he's been a really good player for a long time. So it was one heck of a series, and I mean, if that's the only series we get out of the round of 8, so be it, because that was a great series. But that said, that is going to be it for today. Once again, this was the Chobo Star League, Diamond and Under, our individual league for players of the Chobo Team League. If you are interested, go to the Chobo Team League, choboteamleague.com. You can join up, throw in an application there. There's plenty of teams who will take you, regardless of whatever league you happen to be in. So do go join. It's a good thing. And I am TB Ham. With me has been Ambrosia, so thank you for hanging out. Actually, oh wow, it's 4:17. I have to go to work. That's lame.
All right, well, Best of 5 is also only an hour and 15 minutes, so...
Yeah, I mean, the longest time was probably waiting for Monk to get back online. So...
Yeah.
But yeah, that's going to do it for us. Thanks for tuning in. Next should hopefully be a series tomorrow night, starting at around 9 Eastern or so, depending on when Pisosa and Lando are actually around. If they are around, hopefully they're around. That's all I can say about that.
All right.
But yeah, that's going to be it. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.
to Boston, lives in a